Hi, everyone. It's Lisa here, the Executive Director of CATDC. And joining me today is Dr. Nikkia Young, who's going to be leading one of our ongoing groups, Cultivating Resilience and Attunement on the Path to Racial Integrity. Nikkia, thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Hey, folks.
So Nikkia is a consultant and licensed clinical psychologist, also once taught kindergarten. She's the director currently of counseling at Lick Wilmerding High School in San Francisco, and has also served on the teaching faculty at the Women's Therapy Center in Berkeley, the Northern California Society for Psychoanalytic Psychology, and the California School of Professional Psychology in San Francisco. With all of this experience as an equity and social justice oriented educator, Nikkia co-led CATDC's first ever cross-racial dialogue group last year, which we called at the time the Art of Giving and Receiving Racial Feedback. She co-led that with Tamisha Williams. She also wrote a beautiful and impactful piece, Self-Care and Systemic Injustice, shortly after George Floyd was murdered, for the community at Lick, and it has since been shared widely in the independent school community and has been very impactful. This year, Nikkia is going solo as the facilitator of Cultivating Resilience and Attunement. And this group will be meeting 5 times between October and April. And so I just wanted to talk to you, Nikkia, a bit about this group and what you're hoping for, what you're hoping to gain with the participants. But first of all, what brings you to do this work at this time?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I would say that it's not possible for me to not be doing this work. I feel like working to help unearth and move along important and challenging conversations in environments that I live and work in is something that I've been doing since I was probably 5. Maybe earlier. I'm glad my mom's not here. She would tell embarrassing stories about me doing that sort of thing. So I think that stewardship of conversation and community relationship is something that I have always cared very deeply about. I will say, particular to this very intense time in our world, that doing this work is really sustaining for me, with all that is going on and how overwhelming it feels, and how intensely systemic all the things that we are facing are. Just doing my part in the places where I have agency and giving my best is really helping me to feel nourished and sustained and maintain a sense of purpose. So kind of speaking to the article that you mentioned, for me, it is a form of self-care in the face of all of the systemic injustice. The alternative is running and hiding, and that actually doesn't make me feel better. So, yeah.
Thank you, Nikkia. And as a participant in your group last year, I can just speak to how sustaining that work was for me personally. And I so appreciate that you are giving this time to those who are taking the time to join you. What are you hoping, this is a big question, but what are you hoping that participants will leave with after these months together in a cohort?
Yeah, so there's so many things that come to mind. So I think the title speaks very much to that question, Lisa. So it is Cultivating Resilience and Attunement on the Path to Racial Integrity. And I will say that I created this program in particular, and the Art of Giving and Receiving the Gift of Racial Feedback, to address the things that I kept seeing go wrong and the conversations that I saw fall apart over and over and over and over again, with people in the conversation who all wanted it to go well and were always devastated when it ended up being a hot, wet mess. So, so I think that really one of the things that I would love is for folks to leave having found something about which they feel ashamed, whether it's about the way that they are trying to negotiate racial marginalization, or they are dealing with in their examining of and unpacking of their racial privilege, something that they are ashamed of and struggling with that has been a barrier for them, and have really found a pathway to making themselves proud and moving toward connection and really making their own like personally meaningful to them contribution to this more beautiful world that we're all wanting to contribute to and really also desperately needing to live in.
Thank you. That's so beautifully said, Nikkia. And I love the way you center care and connection and your vision for this most beautiful world that I think we all as educators are striving for. So CATDC community, please do join us with one of our ongoing groups. Join Nikkia on this journey. We have space left in this workshop and many others that are starting in the next couple of weeks. So thanks again, Nikkia, for taking this time with us today. And thank you all for listening.
You bet. My pleasure. And I hope to see you all there.
Take care. Bye-bye.